So hello, everyone that will be joining us and who is present now, and those that will be in the Single and Faithfully Expecting Facebook group. You'll be able to view this recording in that group. If you haven't joined, then make sure you join. I'm Miranda Dennis, licensed clinical social worker in New York and Virginia. And one of the things that I'm super passionate about is singles. And in my counseling practice, I've been noticing a lot of different trends. And one of the things that I'm noticing, one, is an increase of men seeking mental health services. So that thrills me to no end. And then the other trend that I'm noticing is a lot of the single women that I'm working with are having relationship problems. And they had some questions. And I said, well, I'm a female, so I can only really give my experience and what I've read. And I said, let's get some men in here to talk about the things that we women have questions about and things that men sometimes may not be as open with talking about or sharing. A lot of guys don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about mental health, mental illness, wellness in general, other than physical wellness. They'll talk about that, but a lot of times I'm finding, at least in my practice, that I'm working with only half of the equation. And especially for my heterosexual clients, the guys are the other half. And so it's harder for me to sometimes get them in the office working on some of these relationship concerns that they have. So anyways, all of that to say, I do have a very, very special guest that is going to be talking to us about relationships from the male perspective. We get to ask him all kinds. I have some questions that I'm going to ask, but there is a chat button. So if you do have questions, feel free to click the chat button and put it in there. And I will try to make sure to get to those questions. Hey, Isaac, thanks for joining. Hopefully I can get you on here as well, talking about some of these very same things, sir. And so, but for tonight, my special guest is Love Coach Atlanta's very own Mr. Kelvin Troy Johnson. And what he has so graciously offered to do, other than his time, he is going to grant one person on this live. Hey, Janika, thanks for joining. He's going to grant one person one free Love Coach session. Like that is valuable. I don't know if you guys really understand the value of the work that he does, but I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell a little bit about some of the work that he does. And then we can just start jumping right into some of this tonight. All right, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being here. Am I getting an echo or am I okay?
I don't hear an echo. You're good on my end.
Okay, great. All right, so I really appreciate you having me here tonight. I love talking about this. You mentioned that many men don't want to talk about this sort of thing, and I believe you. Listen, when it comes to health, men generally only want to talk about a couple things. It's muscle, it's staying alive and keeping their love muscle alive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. That's the only thing we want to talk about when it comes to health.
Sure.
The rest, we don't care.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with that part. Yeah.
So I'm really glad that you had the thought to think of me and to bring me in to talk tonight. Just to talk to your audience a little bit about who I am and what I do.
Yes, please.
Kelvin Troy Johnson. I am a speaker, trainer, and author, as well as the creator of Love Coach Atlanta. And my background is in working from the social services arena, always working with males. And what's funny is I've gone back to working with males in a different kind of way on a coaching contract. But I've worked with males, boys in the group home, boys in the in schools, boys, then grown men, working with grown men, even as far as working at the shelters. Homeless shelter. I work with homeless men. I've worked with programs helping men find jobs.
Awesome.
Over at the church house, they needed somebody to work with the men. So they like, Kelvin,
He's the guy.
come right this way, all right. And
Yeah.
so what's interesting is that that's actually how I launched my motivational speaking programs, is that I had the job of speaking to men, and motivating men and working with men. And so that's where I got my start, and then started hosting events and all of that. And
Awesome.
when I moved to Atlanta, and I'm originally from Atlantic City, New Jersey. But when I moved here to Atlanta, I looked at the area and looked at the market, and Atlanta is like, a microcosm of the world. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and I thought, what is it that people really need? Like, who needs to know what men think? Like, I've done counseling sessions, coaching sessions for years and years, and heard all these secrets. I mean, I often joke that if I step outside the restaurant and stand there long enough, a man will walk up out of the clear blue sky, and we start having a conversation. And before I walk away, I know his background.
Wow.
I know like the women in his life, and intimate details that probably people who know him don't even know.
Wow.
It's
Interesting.
like the man whisperer, I guess you could call it, right? So I've heard all of these things, and so I formed Love Coach Atlanta, got with some other therapists and counselors and social workers, and we created Love Coach Atlanta. And my positioning on the team is helping men discover their purpose, power, and potential.
Love
But
it.
I am the mind of a man, helping women to understand how men think. So
Yes.
here we are
Very
today.
good. Yes. Awesome. Yeah. So excited. Because the questions that we have are definitely going to talk a little bit about, from the mind of men and helping women to understand. And then the other part is, for the fellas that are on here and joining, some of the things that to hopefully tips and tools that they can use in order to have healthier relationships as well. So I appreciate your expertise and for being here with us. So I'm assuming in your love coaching sessions, you're really talking about how to prepare a man, himself. What can he do to prepare himself to have a healthy relationship or be ready to be in a healthy relationship?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that that's the main thing of it all, is
Mm-hmm.
him getting prepared. Now, women are often talking about getting prepared for marriage and
Yes,
getting
we are.
prepared for a good relationship, and women are working on it.
Mm-hmm.
But men often don't see the need to rush out and and work on themselves, right? So here's what it is: you have to say it differently, Miranda.
Okay, all right, educate
Okay,
me, brother. Go ahead.
so men have no problem with working with on self improvement.
Uh-huh.
Like if it's something that's going to help them improve, they're more likely to receive that, as
Okay.
opposed to getting yourself ready for a relationship. Like that doesn't even make sense to a man, but it does make sense to a man to help yourself get better,
Uh-huh.
to get sharper, to get
Oh,
stronger, faster, all of those sort of things. And so men can understand getting themselves prepared in that kind of way. If it's self improvement, put the label on the self improvement.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. So when you're talking about self-improvement, what are some of the things that are getting in the way of the self-improvement for the guys, do you think?
Hmm. Well, what I think that gets in the way is the really in today's times not really knowing where you fit.
Okay.
There's a lot of men who today don't know where they fit. I mean, listen, there's never been a greater time to be a woman. like women are like boom,
Yeah.
like the day has come. Okay, for the women.
Yeah.
Right. But for so many men and so many young men, they don't know where they fit. They don't know where their positioning is, and so that kind of pulls against understanding and getting yourself ready for a good relationship, because you got to know who you are and where you fit
Absolutely.
before you can get together with somebody else and make a good
There
connection.
you go. There you go. So do you think that if a guy doesn't really know where he fits and doesn't really have a strong understanding of his purpose, is he ready for a relationship, or should he be looking to be in a relationship?
Well,
What do
well, listen, sometimes some things happen immediately and some things happen over time, right? So I think one of the things I encourage guys to do is date. Like,
Okay.
if listen, nobody's coming to your house. Mrs. Wright is not coming to your house. And ladies, y'all can take this on. Mr. Wright is not coming to your house. Like, you have to get out and meet people and get to know people for you to know what you want and what you don't want.
Okay.
There's really only one way. You have to some experiences. Now, I'm not telling you to run out and just do something crazy, right?
Oh,
but I am encouraging you to go out and meet people. Now, that actually that's what I'm really saying when I'm talking about dating. I'm talking about just being social,
being
being
so
being
connected.
connected.
Okay.
Yes, because one of the questions I get all the time is, how come I can't find a good man? Like, where are they? I'm ready, but I don't see the men. And
Uh-huh.
and so then my question to you is, well, where you been looking? Where
Mhm.
where do you spend your time? As you're hoping that Mr. Right comes along. Well, I said, well, I just work all the time.
Mhm.
Oh, and I just work, come home, cook dinner, and on Sunday I go to church. And
Mhm.
that's my whole life. I go to choir rehearsal and all of that's totally fine, right? I mean, that's fine. But at some point in time, you have to go. Look, the meeting is down at the watering hole. Like, you got to find a place where, yes, you got to find a place where the people that you want to engage with
Mhm.
are going to hang out.
Okay.
You
This
know,
this is even in spite of the guy really not knowing his purpose, or women too, kind of being social. Um, where, and this is totally a side note, and just I want something I want to pick your brain on.
sure.
Is where do you think that comes from, as far as the struggle with the male, from having a better understanding of his purpose, and where does Love Coach Atlanta come in to help with that?
Yeah, yeah. So the struggle is in our society, and once upon a time, boys learned how to be a man from their fathers. But
Mm-hmm.
slowly over time, fathers disappeared, and mothers were left to raise them, and then now we've got a whole social revolution going on that we don't even know how this is all going to pan out
Yeah.
with social media and Google. Like, some of these kids act like they don't need parents; all they need is Google. you know
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they don't realize that Google is someone's ideas who
Exactly.
who have agendas, uh, and
And it's people in the back. Yes.
yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes, and so that has become a struggle.
Yeah.
That's even more of a struggle about men, like, losing your identity. Like, if you have to learn everything from Google
Yeah.
and from YouTube, like, how can you really have confidence in yourself if
Mhm.
everything has to come from outside,
Yeah.
and not from inside?
Yeah. And really, just even on a larger scale, thinking social, and with my social work hat, this is really a family systems problem, because the family unit is not what it used to be, and the systems don't operate in the same form and fashion that they have 20, 50, 100 years ago.
Yeah,
So I can definitely see where we have that breakdown, which makes it difficult for our young boys and young men to really have that understanding of who they are, without having this whole influence from fake book. I'm gonna say it,
yeah, sure.
everything that we put online is of course our best, and
Hmm.
not always showing the true reality. So if people are basing their lives off of that, basing their relationships off of that, then we can be in a really dangerous zone. So
Absolutely.
makes sense. Okay. So now let's talk about this, because you mentioned a couple things about you know, if you're just going to the choir practice or just going to church, or and I think you helped out with some programs at your church and everything like that. Do you think faith should play a role in your selection of who you date or how you date?
Yeah, yeah. I thought about this question,
Hmm.
and Miranda, I probably would have answered this question differently a few years ago,
Okay.
right? But I see it in a different way now, and I see it in a way that if faith means a lot to you, then it should mean a lot to your partner. And we're not talking about just like talking about it. Like,
Sure.
I'm talking about like whatever true level that you're on spiritually. And nobody else can see this true level that you're on except you.
Right.
Like, whatever level that is, I think that's the level that you should expect the
Mhm.
person to be on, as they're coming into your life, either that or higher, never lower,
Mhm.
but
So that or higher.
that or higher. That's
Okay.
correct.
And I agree with that 100%. What I'm noticing is that because we are women, we must be helpers, and we must, because we are a helpmate, right? So I'm finding that a lot of women are you mentioned, it has to be true level of faith. Only you can really know that and see that. I'm finding a lot of people in my practice are grabbing hold of potential. So
Mm,
he believes in God,
mhm.
doesn't really have a church, or doesn't on a regular basis, and so I think those things are so super important. So I like that you said at least where you are or higher.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, absolutely.
Why do you think that's important?
I think it's important because where you are, and I'm talking authentically. Like, if
Mhm.
you know that in yourself that you turn the flame on Sunday morning and turn the flame off on Sunday night. Like, let's be honest. If that's how you are, like, you know, don't expect the guy that's coming in to be like, almost a television evangelist with
Mhm.
one of them thick Bibles. You know what I'm saying? That carry on
Multiple
this off.
translations with the Greek and the Hebrew.
Right,
Okay.
right, right, right. Because and like, yeah, you might get one of those, but the chances are probably slim. But then again, is that even what you want? Because you might be also the kind of Christian that likes to have a nice glass of wine, after dinner. And if he's super saved, he might not want that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, like, the need for you to be straight up and be
Right.
honest about where you are spiritually, and find someone who matches that or higher. because
Absolutely.
because at least if they're higher, they can encourage you when you feel like laying in bed on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
They can encourage you to come on, hey, come on, let's go.
Mhm.
And at least you have that.
Mhm.
But we never know how any of this is all going to shake out, because
Mhm.
because we've all seen probably the best of what we thought was everything,
Mhm.
and it
Mhm.
and it not work out.
Wasn't. Yeah. Until it wasn't. It was the best until it wasn't.
Exactly. And I know Sister Jones, who had the alcoholic husband,
Mhm.
but he still treated her like a diamond. Not, but he never came to church, but he never stopped her from coming either, and he supported. He might, I've seen guys even send their time, they send their money, but
Yes,
they
I've
but
heard
they gonna
that.
say, but they staying home, and they still gonna treat her, in the way that she wants to be treated. So
Mhm. And that brings up so many other points, but we only have so much time.
that's so much time.
So, let's talk about the male leadership, because you did talk about, okay, so if he's here or higher with regarding to faith, but what about thinking about leadership roles, right? I mean, it's almost a taboo thing to talk about roles within a relationship. I mean, everything has a role. Your job description, you have certain roles. So I mean, I'm not so against having a little understanding and definition, because I think in relationships, people should discuss roles and expectations. And I think a lot of times they don't. Therefore, there becomes a lot of confusion and arguing down the line that possibly could have been avoided if you don't talk about those leadership roles. And so what does that mean in relation to leading a family, leading a relationship from a male perspective?
Well, say that question one more time.
So I know I asked like 5 questions. Sorry. So the main question is just speaking to your understanding of, what is it important to have that male role in leadership in the family, in the relationship, and what does that mean or look like?
Yeah, well, I definitely believe that. I believe that that a man should even lead the relationship, and have a vision for what he wants to happen in the relationship. But he should also have the wherewithal to have her vision in mind, like her ideas, her thoughts, and all of that. I talk about this idea, and this one gets a little tight, Miranda.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to get a little tight? You ready to get a little tight?
Take us there. Go ahead. Take us.
So when we talk about the term submission,
Mm.
okay. So when we talk about this, when we talk about the word
That's a bad
submission,
word.
yeah. But I'm gonna make it a good word. I'm gonna make it a good word here tonight. So the word submission, literally, look, Janika, she's like, look, here they go.
Oh, I didn't even see the comments. Sorry,
Yeah,
y'all.
we got comments in the chat.
Roles, expectations, and leadership. Oh my, and submission. I would have.
Yeah. All
Oh,
right, she watching for this. All right,
you
all
better.
right, here we go. Look. So the idea of submission, right? Literally meaning getting under the mission.
Okay, talk about it then. Tell us.
Okay, so because we know the word sub is
Mhm.
below, right? Getting below the mission.
Okay.
So I believe that once upon a time it was on the man to have the vision and the women follow the vision. But I believe that you can have a joint vision that you both are submitting to.
Okay.
Okay, and so I think I think that's the key. Like what is the mission for us being together? Let's start there.
Let's start there, because I don't think many people know the mission or the reason for the relationship. Is if it's to fill a void, be honest about that. If you're looking for something more, be honest about that with yourself first.
Yes. And I think that's everything, because that's the beginning. Because
There you go.
technically, and there's a movement of men that are having this conversation more and more,
Mhm.
is that they're saying like, well, look, after my third marriage, I realized I don't need love.
Mhm.
They're like, what am I getting married for?
Yeah.
Like, if I don't want any more kids,
Mhm.
and I don't want anything that I do together with her, if it don't work out, I got to split it with her. I got to be paying and for a long period of time, and it's all upside for her and all downside for me.
Mhm.
So this is the conversation that men are having
Yeah.
right now, that are kind of like in the small men's corners. They having these conversations, and so I think that in your dating and in your courting period, and you're getting to know each other, somebody's got to ask the question, like,
Mhm.
what can we achieve together? You know, once upon a time, people only got married for one reason.
Yeah.
They got married to join kingdoms together.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, they
Yeah.
got married. You guys are the rice leaders of
Mhm.
the nation, and we are the barley leaders of the nation.
What
We're
can
going.
you do? No.
What can we do? So when if your son John Boyd marries my daughter Sue,
Mhm.
well, boom, we have combined kingdoms. He's got your inheritance, she's got his inheritance, and boom, we coming together, and we're gonna put this all together. People got married for their in-laws.
Yeah. Not for love.
Not for love. They say, look, if you stay together long enough, love will come along. But they got together for money and for power.
Yeah,
Okay?
that is true.
But
That is true.
look, and even if we don't like that answer, we say, no, I want love. Okay, but guess what? At least at the end of the day, they had money
And power.
and power. And you know what? And you know what? And it was harder for them to walk away and break
Yeah,
up.
that's true. That's true.
You
That
know,
is so
because
true.
if you're hinged in to her father-in-law,
Mhm.
like her father, and you guys are the whole family, the whole clan has come together. Like there's no
Yeah,
such thing as divorce. Divorce?
yeah.
What do you mean?
That is interesting concept. You're right, though, but that's what they did. Yeah.
That's what they did. So now we're in this kind of time where we're looking at like, look, I want love and I want to be in love and finding love. Okay, that's fine.
Hmm.
Love is a good start, but ask yourself, why should we join kingdoms?
Hmm.
And the person that you feel that has a good leadership mindset for the future.
Hmm.
And ladies, and I'm talking to ladies too. Look, ladies, good leadership mind for the future. You can see now. Some people talking about marrying potential. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with marrying potential, but he better be working on it.
Yeah, buddy.
Active potential,
Active, active.
yeah, yeah, and so for the guys, same thing. Look, you don't need to. No, you don't need to have to marry somebody, but there's something special about two people coming together in the same mind, having the same mission that they're getting under,
Hmm. Hmm.
can't be stopped.
I really like, okay, all right. We can work with you on the definition of submission. I like that. That's because you're right. I mean, if you're joining together with someone, hopefully you're heading somewhere, right? You're not,
Somewhere.
I mean, it's purposeful. And so
Yes.
as long as your purpose and intent for the relationship lines up, then you can create a mission that you both are submitted to. Okay.
Yes.
You can have
Absolutely.
that one. No,
Thank you very much.
you like that one. Y'all like that one? Okay, all right. I think they like it. They like
All
it.
right. All right.
Good. Okay. Um, so let's talk a little bit about the breakdown of relationships. Okay. So from a male perspective, what do you think are major key pieces that contribute to a breakdown in a what seems to be good or healthy relationship?
I think one of the biggest breakdowns that happens is people lose their reason for being together. I think in order to have a healthy relationship, you guys got to have something in common,
Right.
and it's got to be more than just the kids.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so as you're getting to know people and you're looking, I encourage people. Look, I say, look, whatever you're into, get really into it, and go down to where they're the meetup. If you really love bowling, but you don't really bowl that much, you know what? Get yourself on the bowling team
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
hang out with the bowlers and just enjoy that experience. Look forward to it. Connect with people, get their phone numbers, and talk to people, and you'll be amazed that you might actually find the man of your dreams on the bowling team. Okay. And so now you guys have this one thing that you do in common that you know that you both can love, and you go all out and you watch it. You order the magazine, Bowler's Digest, and like you can watch the bowling channel, like you know, and
Is there a bowling channel?
I,
No,
there is a bowling
not
channel.
really.
There is a bowling
That's
channel.
funny.
And I'm telling you, that right there, and it sounds so goofy and like corny, but I'm telling you, having that thing that you guys are in connection with, and you're building and you're encouraging each other, it it translates all the way through the rest of the relationship. So you don't have a problem talking to her about money. You don't have you won't have a problem talking to her about sex. You know, and because you're together and you're checking her out, and she's checking you out, and it's almost like foreplay. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it can be absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, so okay, let me ask this question, because I am noticing this, and I actually had a really good conversation today with a young lady, and I'm noticing that people are making these relationship connections based on a shared trauma or a shared heartbreak or a shared disappointment, not necessarily a shared what we would consider healthy connection, right? So then what we're having is we have all of these breaks and pieces, and we're trying to fit other people into these puzzles we're fractured. We become fractured. And
Yeah.
so what I'm finding is people are connecting and forming these relationships based on a fracture in themselves. Have you started seeing that in your sessions?
Oh, absolutely. And I remember when I was doing work at one of the recovery houses. The recovery house is one of the top places people get together.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we have shared recovery.
They have share recovery,
Yeah.
and we go and help each other in recovery, and
Mhm.
we go into AA together, and
Mhm.
and the next thing you know, or they go into NA together, and the next thing you know, they're dragging each other down, down to the bar
Yeah.
and getting loaded, and now they have this shared experience of getting high together.
Yeah.
That now this is their, and I'm telling you, I've seen so many situations where, like, a guy would come in who is, he just lost his job or whatever, didn't have any place to live, and he got a drinking problem issue, but it's really not that big a thing. The biggest thing was the fact that he lost his job or whatever, and then he comes in and he meets a lady who's got a heroin addiction, and she's like getting over her heroin addiction, and 6 weeks later he's got a full-blown heroin addiction. Why? Because it's the fact that you become who you hang around.
That's right.
And so if you want to have a higher quality mate, you got to find them in a higher quality place, and only allow that into your life.
Absolutely. What do you say to women who feel like, but I can help him?
um,
That's part of their purpose
is
is
that
to help people, and they love him, so they got to help him.
Yeah, there's a term for a woman like that. She's got the Florence Nightingale syndrome. I can heal you.
Yeah.
I can help
I
you.
know. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I can see you. All you have to do
Yeah.
is listen to me. Well, you know
Yeah.
what? But the problem with that is it's your idea. It's not his idea.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it's your idea, it won't stick until it's his idea. And so you can help and you can hurt
Yeah.
at either way
Yeah.
at the same time. So
Absolutely. So, and speaking of helping and supporting, so what would be, you know, a lot of guys, like we talked about in the beginning, don't really talk about some of the issues we're talking about. We don't talk about being mentally well. We don't talk about what can they do to take ownership of relationships, and how can they work on their own purpose and mission first. So a lot of times what I see is a larger um, a larger concern. I'm not really sure how to say it, but there's a larger lack of sense of self for some of the guys that I'm finding in counseling, right? And so they really are dealing with some of the issues we talked about as it relates to being raised by a single mother or the pressures of the world, and they're not able to make the decisions that they want to. They have the desire to, but they feel stuck,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have this negative internal dialogue that, oh, I must not be a man, or I'm not good enough, or and some of those things. And so then, which could, that doesn't always lead to a mental illness, but it could lead to increased anxiety, depression, those types of things. How can women support when they see that happening,
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
of pressure? Because what we'll say is, well, what you need to do is, and
right,
that's not really helpful.
right, right. It is absolutely not helpful.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, it's the fastest way to make him go the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, because when you say what you need to do is, you sound like his mother, and he wants to get as far away from being with a woman who is his mother in that kind of way. He don't mind if you cook sweet potato pie like his mama, but he does mind when you try to lord yourself over him and tell him what he needs to do. Okay, so the way that you connect with that is, and here's the thing: women don't always understand the voice of a woman in a man's ear saying the words that he needs, that nourishes his soul and encourages him to stand up, is one of the most powerful gifts that
Mhm.
women have.
Mhm.
It's a gift,
Mhm.
and I'm telling you, and which is like this. I could take this whole thing another way, and talk about Becky, Rebecca down at the office, who
Mhm.
ends up running away with the boss,
Mhm.
who ends up leaving his wife for Rebecca. You know Becky with the good hair,
Mhm.
because she knows how to talk to him and tap
Mhm.
in to his manhood,
Mhm.
which sometimes is his work, and let him know that, I see you,
Mhm.
I hear you, and I recognize what you're going through. I'm not going to try and tell you what to do, but I want you to know I'm here for you. I am your teammate in this.
Mhm.
You know, and I'm going to, if I'm going to lift you up when you feel like falling down,
Mhm.
and I'm going to be your support. We are a team. We didn't just start being a team today. We've been a team all this time. We got over that, the other thing, and the other thing, and we're going to get over this together. Tell me what it is that I can do to support you in whatever it is you're going through.
So, and okay, and so what do you tell the single woman that says, well, I'm not his mama, he should already know that stuff, I shouldn't have to be telling no grown man what, blah blah blah. So how do you coach them through that?
Yeah. Well, you know what? There are some things he's going to have to tell you that he shouldn't have to tell you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nobody's perfect. And
There
no,
you
look,
go.
I don't care if you had a daddy. There's some lessons that you wasn't paying attention to,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that you might miss. And so I think, at the end of the day, it's about compassion. Now, I'll say this: If you feel like you got to jump start the whole engine and you're going to carry the man on your back and all of that, well, wait a minute. Don't you you shouldn't be in a position to have to do and be everything to a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that's not it. You should be a helper and a support, but
Mhm.
he's got to be his own engine
Mhm.
because only he can turn himself on. You can
Mhm.
encourage it, you
Yeah.
can speak into it, but he has to turn the ignition to turn
Right.
himself.
Absolutely. So what if he doesn't know the engine isn't warm? Like what if he doesn't have an self-awareness? So what's helpful? What are things that guys should look for? Because what I'm seeing on the counseling aspect is exactly what you're saying is they're getting upset with the person that they're either married to or dating for telling them, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. And they're finding that they are frustrated with their self. So,
Yeah,
what would you say to a man to really help him encourage himself or gird himself up?
I love that. That's a great question. So, Miranda, here's my thought. You can say the same thing multiple times
Mhm.
in multiple different kind of ways.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you in his ear, how come you did that? How come you did that? How come you didn't? Or you can either do that, or um, you can shoot him a text in the morning with a little message. I believe in you.
Mhm.
You could shoot him a. We got. You want to use your technology? You could use the sticky notes. If for the ladies who have a man at the house, um, you could put a sticky note in there, telling him, giving him a message.
Mhm.
And it sounds corny, it sounds old school, but guess what? It works, and it's you hitting it in multiple ways. Like you might even shoot him. I don't know. You might turn on some morning motivation,
Mhm.
one of the motivational videos, and just let it rock. You know, and I'm telling you, I that's what I do for me. To condition my mind for the day, I turn it on in the morning and I just get dressed and all that, and I hear
Mhm.
the inspiration and it's in the air.
Yeah.
So therefore, even my kids get it.
Mhm.
Now, as you might know, you might figure out my kids are tired of hearing all of it. You can imagine.
Motivation, right?
Yes, yes. They're like, oh, like we know Tony Robbins already. Like we know Les Brown. We know all these guys' names. We know their voices. Been hearing them our whole life. You
Uh-huh.
know, but I know that it's in them
Mhm.
and it can't be taken out of them. You
Mhm.
know, and so it is. So it will be with your mate as you dial into his different modalities where he learns
Mhm.
and connect the message
Yeah.
into those different modalities.
Okay. So, but what about the self-awareness piece for him? So,
Yeah,
let's say, the guy is not in a dating relationship, but desires to be, but they find themselves kind of picking the same type of women or ending up with a broken heart. What advice or coaching could you offer for that aspect?
yeah. So a guy like that, I think he's got to work on his social on his circle,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
Because sometimes guys are trying to make a decision and they make a rash decision without wise counsel. You know, they might decide to go hang out with this girl or spend some time with this girl or decide to just up and marry somebody.
Mhm.
You know, fly to Las Vegas and let's get married. And you know that that's a foolish idea. You know, but if if she says it enough times, it starts to sound good. It sounds like a fairy tale. Well, let's go have an adventure. But you're like, wait a minute, I don't really even know her,
Mhm.
and she doesn't really know me. And I know somebody who got messed up in a situation kind of like that,
Yeah.
and she ends up getting pregnant, and now I guess we got to be together. Oh,
Mm.
well, I barely know you, but you know, and so that's a difficult life to live.
It,
You know?
it sure is. It sure is. And thank you for your expertise on just your experience with that. We do have a question, and we do have time for the question. So, have you can you speak on the idea of women and men being twins? So, they're saying they had someone older than me that seemed to dislike the law of reciprocity. So, not necessarily do
Because I do.
because I do. Okay. But if he expects something of me, can I not expect the same from him?
Hmm. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, you are you, and he is who he is.
Mhm.
And this isn't some kind of like tit for tat childhood game. You do what you feel comfortable in your heart, and that you can go to bed at night and say that, you know, I did this thing and I'm okay with myself. You know, and it's so it doesn't matter what he does. It matters what you do. And if you don't like what he does,
Mhm.
guess what? It still matters what you do.
Mhm. Mhm.
If he's doing something that you don't like, you need to speak up on it. Otherwise, sometimes men take silence for agreement. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
so if you don't like what's happening, you speak up on it, and you do whatever you need to do to, you know, secure and to cover your own heart.
Yeah. And I like that you talked about regardless of what he does, you still have to do what is right and comfortable and aligns with your true authentic self. Because I was in a dating situation at one point and I was like, well, I this was the plan. You didn't stick with the plan. I did blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. And he was like, you're keeping track? And I was like, well, we had an agreement. And
Hmm.
that it didn't for me, I was thinking, well, it's not necessarily keeping track, but it's more of keeping your word.
Hmm.
And like, we talked about before, if we're talking about the law of reciprocity, it's a give and take, then I still, like you said, I still had to make a decision. What did that mean for me the next time around or in the future or when we approach that subject again or a different subject? Um,
Exactly.
Okay, so we have another question. Would you say the same for a woman that seemed to attract the same type of guy? So is it the company that she keeps, something else, or really a combination?
Hmm. She keeps attracting the same
Same,
type of guy.
yeah, that's so it's not working out, but she keeps, running back to the same type of relationships and it's not working out for her. Is it really just who she's surrounding herself with, or is it more of something different?
I think it's definitely who she's surrounding herself with, and not to mention who she's allowing into her life. Because a man doesn't fall from the heavens. Yeah, like, where did you come from? Oh, I guess we gotta have a relationship. You know, that's not the way it goes.
Right.
You decide on the same kind of man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Be
So
intentional
if
about
you're
it.
exactly, and since you've been with that kind of man, you should see that, you should know that very well from afar. From the minute he got out the car, you say, "Oh, I know that guy, and that guy is not the guy I want in my life." And so you go the other way and stop trying to make him be the guy.
Yeah.
He like you want it, like this is you feel like you're attracting him because you want it. There's something about that you like. You like that little thug thing that he do. you, you like a little thugness in your man. You know, there's something about that you really like, but you better find a man who could turn the thug on and turn it off.
Yeah. That's funny. Um, when you, and I think you touched on it a little bit earlier when we were talking about the components of a healthy relationship. And really the key is, if you don't know who you are, what you want in life, at least an idea. You don't have to have the 20-year plan. You have to have some sort of plan. And whoever you meet, man or woman, whoever I'm talking to here, their plan, their purpose, their mission has to somewhere along the line meet up with where you're going, right? I think that's really the whole premise. Sometimes, and we're getting close to our time, so I'm going to start wrapping up. So if y'all have other questions, make sure to drop them in the comment box as well. Sometimes for women, it seems like we're going along the path. It's going good. I'm hearing what I want to hear. Now, whether that's genuine or not, we don't know, but we're going to assume it's genuine and authentic. I'm being told what I want to hear, and then all of a sudden he's gone. So talk to the fellas. Help them to understand a better way of saying, I'm no longer going in that same direction. I think we are coming at a fork in the road instead of just totally disappearing and ghosting.
Yeah. I get this all the time. I get this question all the time because a lot of men are doing this. That they're afraid of conflict. They don't want the conflict. They don't want to have to explain themselves. They don't want to have to do any of that. And so, honestly, there's a way to hedge this off. Ladies, listen to this. When you're getting to know him, have the conversation and say, "Hey, listen. If at any point in time that you don't feel like this relationship is going the way that you hoped it would, and I'm being straight up and honest with you, you can tell me. You can just let me know, and I'm going to let you know if I feel like this isn't right for me, because I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. I respect you. You respect me. And let's be able to have the conversation like adults, and we go on. And with that said, that already becomes kind of the bedrock of the relationship, knowing that what that actually says is, I can talk to you about anything. Ladies, you don't understand how powerful that is, that feeling that you can create, that a man can talk to you about anything. I mean, a man should be able to talk to you about wanting to be with other women.
Somebody ain't gonna like that.
Look, you don't have to like it,
Yeah.
but do you want him to talk to you about being with other women, or you want to go him to go talk to his homeboys about being his thoughts about being with other women? Which one you want? And just like just like that topic may come up, that's just a topic that relationships, things that people go through in relationships. And if he feels like he can't talk to you about things like that, then he'll just go do the thing, and worry about you later on.
Yeah. And the other part is, not only if he can't, or feels as if he can't talk to you about those things, and like you said, he'll go out, it'll become a fantasy, and then eventually he's going to act on it, or possibly not. Maybe. But what often happens is he'll get bad advice from someone. Yeah, man, you don't care. No, anyways, just go ahead and do whatever the thing is. So we got people chiming in, awesome dialogue, learning a lot, truth. Yes, he should be vulnerable with you, and vice versa. I love the fact that you're talking about from the beginning, have this conversation. If we're not going in the same direction at any point in time, that you feel we're on a different road or different path, or we're making a split, let's come back and talk about that. What is the reality of that actually happening in your experience? Because it sounds nice.
Yeah, it sounds
like the right thing to do. I don't know what what type of gusto it takes for a guy to actually have that type of conversation without feeling like I just better say yeah because that's what she wants to hear anyways.
Right, right, right. Yeah, it's listen. Men have been writing Dear John letters for many many years, or I guess it's Dear Sally. I don't know what it is on the other end, but like
Exactly.
like yeah, people have tried to avoid the breakup conversation for
Mhm.
many years, and some people need to have the breakup conversation,
Yeah.
like and some people are avoiding having the breakup conversation because they don't want to have a fight. They don't want to have an argument. So they just stop calling you. So they just shut down, unfriend you from social media, and you're like, wait, what just happened? What? And so again, I think that vulnerability of just letting him know, and that may not be a one-time conversation, and not just saying it the same way, but finding a different way that says, I'm open to talking to you about whatever's going on the inside. And that's one of the things that you and I think we were talking about one time before, just about how men deal with so much in their minds,
Yes.
that there are men who think about suicide every day,
Yeah.
because they don't really have any place that they can unload. And because listen, most of the time, if you unload back at the house, or you unload to your lady, there's a consequence, because women don't forget anything.
Mhm.
They remember everything you said and how you said it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
although he
Yeah.
might just been feeling that way for that moment,
Yeah.
it's going to be remembered and factored into the whole cycle of the relationship. So it's sometimes better to just not tell her anything.
What do
You
you suggest men do if they find themselves in that situation? Like, the mind is going and it's hard to shut off, and you just don't know what to do because you're not going to get the support from your partner that you're looking for. What should a guy do? Where,
yeah,
what do you suggest who should he reach out to?
I definitely suggest getting therapy. I think everybody needs therapy,
Yeah.
because everyone has gone through some things that
Oh,
they're having common, especially men go
yeah.
through some things in our minds that we haven't told anybody.
Mm,
There's a man who's listening to this right now who was molested by his babysitter at age 9,
mhm.
that nobody knows.
Yeah.
Now he thought that she was making that, and he went and bragged to his boys that I've been smashing since I was 9 years old. No, you've been abused at 9 years old. You were
Right.
molested. You were a victim at 9 years old.
Right.
And so some of that is still playing into his life today,
Mhm.
in those ways. And so getting therapy, getting help, finding good environments where people, like men's groups that you could connect with, uh, uh, you know, even some of the fraternities. Of course, I'm a Q. I and like the groups. Sometimes even in those groups, like in the inner circles of the groups, you can find men just talking about issues and talking about things that are coming up. And I think I've been approached to do some things working with men and working with guys, a group of boys, young men, and older men meeting at barbershops.
Mhm.
And there's this quiet movement of men meeting at barbershops, having live events at the barbershop, and
Love it.
men can actually young men can raise their hands and ask a real man, not
Yeah.
not not Google,
Yeah. Come on
but
now.
but a real man who
Mhm.
can give real information and real wisdom about
Mhm.
how to proceed on with life. And
Yeah.
I think that right there is that, um, creating that environment where men can talk about what they're thinking about
Absolutely.
is so key in our time.
Absolutely. Well, when you start being a part of those conversations, let me know. I definitely want to promote that and share that out with my community because I think that's so important. I really
Absolutely.
value those types of conversations. And so,
Absolutely. And if this guy that I'm waiting on to make this all happen doesn't hurry up, Love Coach Atlanta will will
all
will
right, do
will create the event,
that's
and
right.
I'll go right past them and do the whole
Yeah.
thing. Then they're gonna say you stole my idea.
You can credit him. The idea came from no.
Right,
We'll
right.
thank such and such for an amazing idea and go on with your business. You have to answer the call.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
You know,
So, as we're wrapping up, Janika says this is much needed and very informative. Thank you guys. Just before we wrap up, let people know how they can find you, follow you, get your book. Tell
yeah.
people what's going on.
All right, all right. Well,
Learn more about
yeah,
you.
thank you so much. Well, you guys can follow all of my work at on all the platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Love Coach Atlanta. It's me behind the scenes. I'm building a team of media people, but it's me primarily running that as well. Kelvin Troy Johnson everywhere. Our home is lovecoachatlanta.com is the website. And if somebody wants more content on how men think, I just started a brand new YouTube channel called The Mind Secrets of the Minds of a Man.
All
Secrets of the
right.
Mind of a Man. So pop on over there and check out some of that stuff. I've got some good stuff. 5 red flags that every woman must see or that you can't ignore. 5 red
Oh,
flags that you
okay.
can't ignore.
Well, I'm gonna have to check that out and share that out as well for sure. That we need to know.
Yes,
Inquire minds
yes.
need to know. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for all jumping on tonight and spending a good portion of your evening with us. Thank you again, Mr. Kelvin, Troy Johnson, for joining me and taking time out of your super busy schedule to give us an hour of your time and impart some of this amazing knowledge and information. And we are going to continue the conversation with real men, real conversation, talking about male mental health, ministry, their purpose, and how it all impacts relationships. So be on the lookout. I'm going to try to do this at least twice a month, and I've got a couple of other guys lined up. If you know someone that you think, hey, they would be a good male to come on and share information, and they are a relationship coach or they're a male therapist or in some type of ministry, and you think that they would have good information to share, please connect them with me. My email is oasislcsw@gmail.com. So until our next segment of Real Men, Real Conversations. Yes.
So you forgot. So we're giving away 1 free Love Coach session.
I forgot about that. So we had a couple people jumping on and off for the afternoon. So, but we are going to give out one, or not we. You're going to give out 1 free Love Coach session. And are we going to put, you want me to put names in a hat of people that join live, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah. I'll
just want to pick somebody.
Yeah. You send me the person, and you could just email me the person's name and their content, and we'll reach out to them.
Okay, awesome. I will get that to you. I'll put your names in the hat, and we'll pull somebody out and see who's the winner.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night.
All right. See you next time. Bye.